Okay, so what is a jazz blues? A jazz blues is just like a traditional 12-bar blues, but with some added chords. So your regular 12-bar blues has the 1, 4, and 5 chords. And we're in the key of B flat because this is a typical jazz key. But in our 12-bar blues, our jazz blues, we're going to add in some additional chords, especially towards the end. So in a regular 12-bar blues, you have the 5 to 4. In jazz blues, we change that to a 2-5. Okay, so that's one of the big differences. But let's go through the entire thing. So first of all, we have our 1 chord. We're going to go to a quick 4, back to the 1. Then we're going to alter that 1 to get us to the 4. Then sharp 4, which gets you back to the 1. And then the 6th chord, or the 5 chord of the 2 chord. You can think of it either way. We're going to make it altered so that we can get to the C minor, which is our 2 chord. And then the 5 chord, we can make that altered. And then we have our turnaround at the end. 1, 3 dominant. We can do a 2 minor, 5, and then we're back to the 1 where we can start over. Okay, so with these new chords comes new scales. So of course you can play the blues scale or the pentatonic scale. In this case it would be B flat minor pentatonic or B flat major pentatonic, and you can use that for most of the tune. That works. But in jazz blues, we tend to add some more specific scales. So for example, over the B flat 7th chords, you can play a B flat Mixolydian mode that has the flat 7th, has the major 3rd, has the root, has the 5th, so it has everything you need from the chord. Okay, so for the E flat 7, you can do the same thing, but this time it's going to be an E flat Mixolydian. Okay, so we can use those 2 scales over those 2 chords. The next thing is whenever we have an altered chord, we can use a bunch of different scales. We can use the altered scale, we can use the half whole diminished scale, we can use the whole tone scale. I have a whole video on this, which I'll link above, so you can check that out. So most of the time, we're going to be using the altered scale. That's kind of the number one choice. So for B flat 7 altered, I can go up a half step and use the melodic minor. So B melodic minor. Get a lot of cool sounds out of that, and that'll get you to your next chord, to the 4 chord. Once we get to this diminished chord, the E diminished chord, you can use a diminished scale or just a diminished arpeggio. That works just as well. And then of course you're going to get back to your B flat chord where you can use Mixolydian. And then once we get to the G chord, again, it's an altered chord, or it can be an altered chord, so we can use any of those altered options. So in the melody of the tune at the beginning, I used part of the altered scale. Okay, so again, a melodic minor scale, a half step up. So in this case, it's A flat melodic minor. After that, you get to your 2 chord, which is going to be the C minor 7th, and we can use the C Dorian mode. Okay, so we can use any of those notes from the C Dorian mode to solo over that chord. And then once we get to the 5 chord, which is F, F7 or F7 altered, again, you can use any of those altered options. So go up a half step, play the melodic minor, or you can use the whole tone scale, half whole diminished, tritone subs. Again, a lot of options over the altered chords. Okay. So after that, we have our turnaround, which is the 1, 3, 2, 5, and back to 1. So we've already gone over those chords. Basically, you can use the Mixolydian over the B flat. You can use the altered scale over G. You can use the C Dorian mode over C. And you can use the F altered scale over the F7th chord. And that'll get you back to the beginning of the tune. Now, these are all just options, okay? There's not just one way of doing this. There's a bunch of different ways. And there's more chord variations. So you can experiment with adding in your own substitutions. You can do tritone substitutions. You can do all kinds of things over this 12-bar blues. And that's what makes it really fun. So this is just kind of a starter course on how to play a jazz 12-bar blues.